Live on First Warning Doppler radar, it is still a threat to some areas. Good evening, I'm Brad Byrd. Shelley Kirk has the night off. Much of the tri-state is under a tornado watch at this hour. Let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Wayne Hart live in the First Warning Doppler Weather Center with the latest developments. Wayne?
Well, Brad, the good news is the threat of severe weather has ended for the Evansville metro area. That includes the cities of Henderson and Owensboro. We still have a tornado warning in effect for far eastern Perry County and technically extreme eastern Davis County, although we've had no reports of any kind of tornado touchdowns out of Davis County. We had a funnel cloud and some rotation reported a little earlier on. Live First Warning Doppler radar kind of tells the story as to where this line is right now. And apparently we've got a new warning of some kind coming in from the Weather Service, so we'll keep the radio on here in the background while we take a look at First Warning Doppler. But you can see the line now moving into the southeastern quarter of the viewing area, the leading edge. Now just through the Hartford Beaver Dam area and then down into the Greenville Central City area. And this is continuing to move on to the east at 40 to 50 miles per hour. That alarm, by the way, was just for a new watch east of our area, so that is not of any concern to us. But the funnel cloud was reported in this part of the storm here, and we're not seeing any kind of rotation at this particular time. And over here in Perry County, that's the part of the storm that, at least according to Doppler radar, was producing some pretty strong rotation. That appears to be moving just about out of Perry County, so I think here in another 30 minutes we'll be in pretty good shape, but at least the southeastern quarter of the viewing area still has to deal with this line of strong to severe storms. Let me put a track on that line, which again is now clearing, or at least the strong winds have cleared the metro area, and it will continue to move on to the east at around 45 miles per hour, so it's going to be into Beaver Dam any minute now. And then on into Morgantown at 6:23, and all these towns you see here are basically out of our viewing areas. So another 30 minutes and we'll be in pretty good shape. And as far as any damage reports thus far are concerned, nothing all that significant. We've had some trees knocked down here and there, but fortunately nothing all that widespread. We did have reports out of Petersburg of a garage destroyed. We're still following up on that. And as you can see on First Warning Doppler radar, the back edge of the rain now showing up just west of Evansville. So the rain will be letting up here soon. Of course, it's a lot colder. We hit 80 this afternoon. We're now down into the low 50s, but at least with the colder air, we are through with the threat for severe weather, at least here in the metro area, Brad. That's the good news. But we'll be back later in the newscast to update the situation down to our southeast, which again has about another 30 minutes to go before they can no longer worry about the severe weather threat. And Julie has just passed on a new warning, and that's Ohio County, a severe thunderstorm warning, and that basically completes all of the warnings for our viewing area. Just about every county was under one, and this will be the last one. So that's the latest, Brad, live from the First Warning Doppler Weather Center.
Okay, so developing situation, Wayne. We'll be checking in with you momentarily. Thanks a lot. Well, the storm whipped through Evansville at about 5 o'clock with very strong winds and hail. News 25's Michelle Martini is live now out on the west side. Michelle, still raining out there, but a little bit calmer, we hope.
It has. The main part of the storm has passed through the west side of Evansville where we are here. You can still see the wind is whipping the umbrella around. And here on the Lloyd Expressway, the water has collected quite a bit. Cars are having to drive through quite a puddle there. Now, earlier we were in Mount Vernon in Posey County when the storm did hit that area. That was the first area that we saw it pass through. And you can see the football field there. Mount Vernon High School was practicing at the time. Our sports director got that video. And the trees are blowing. That was the first thing we noticed, was the high winds. And of course, that drop in temperature that Wayne was talking about earlier. Those clouds are pretty significant. And that flag gives you an idea of just how strong that wind was. Now, we did drive around Mount Vernon and didn't see much damage, small limbs down. The Posey County dispatch said that that's all they heard about was small limbs and a power line down. Here on the west side, we've also driven around here and we haven't seen much damage, a few limbs in the streets. And you can see that, like I said earlier, that the water is collected here on the Lloyd Expressway. So be careful if you are out on the roads this evening. The rain is still coming down and you can see this umbrella is whipping around. The winds are still pretty high, but I think that the worst of it has passed over us as of this point, Brad.
All right, Michelle Martini again live out on the west side. Thanks a lot, Michelle. The storm hit Fairfield, Illinois at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, west of Evansville. News 25's Eric Burke was there, and he joins us now live with a look at how that area was hit. Eric?
Well, Brad, actually, our photographer Mike Fridley and I drove on I-64 straight into the eye of the storm. And we really got to Route 1 in Illinois, real near to Fairfield when that storm actually hit. We've actually got some video of what it looked like when we got there. That's where we met the storm head on, and you can see from the video that we shot there that there were some really dark clouds, some ominous clouds, and you could see off to the horizon that things did look a little ominous, but the wind came in, the rain started to fall. We didn't see any reports or have any reports of hail, but a lot of people did gather underneath the overpass right there at Route 1 and I-64 because the wind and everything was just too much for drivers to handle, including our live truck. We had to pull it underneath there as well, but we were able to go ahead and get up on top of the overpass and get some video that we're showing you now, and there's the cars and trucks that were underneath. And we talked to one driver who pulled over just because she was scared.
Heading home from work, and the wind was blowing so hard, blowing debris across the road and shaking my van, it got me scared. I'm scared for my kids. They're at home by themselves.
Then things did start to lighten up a little bit. Then what we did is we turned around and headed back east on I-64, and we're now here at Highway 41, and I-64 is where we've been most of the afternoon, and we've seen several waves of rain come through. But if there is a silver lining out there, it's actually probably an orange lining right now. That's the horizon off to the west. You can see where it is starting to clear up a little bit. There's some breaks in the clouds, the low clouds and the high clouds, and the sun getting ready to set. And so it appears that at least for the western part of our viewing area, the rain is about to end. But as you can tell right now here in northern Vanderburgh County, the rain continues tonight, Brad.
Okay, and Eric, one of the dangerous things about driving in this, because I was driving on Highway 60 west of Henderson, is the potential of ponding on those roads where you can hydroplane and lose control if you're not careful.
Yeah, we ran into two problems. One on the way there, that once we crossed the Illinois-Indiana border, that wind was coming straight down on top of us. Wayne talks about those straight line winds, and he told us when we got close to the storm, that's what we saw. Well, that's what we would see. That's what we saw, and that's why we pulled underneath. And when we were coming back, we had those winds pushing us, and at the same time, we did have to be careful because there were a few times when we were hydroplaning there on the roads, and a lot of people were pulling over. We just had to beat out the storm to get back here to show everybody what it was doing. So we just kind of took our chances there, but everything turned out fine. There were no accidents, no reports of any accidents on I-64 that we saw, and no reports of any damage on our route as well this afternoon. So it appears that at least from northern Vanderburgh County west over to Illinois, things were fine.
All right, Eric Burke, once again, thanks a lot, Eric, and a very welcome sight with that sunset tonight. This is the second day in a row that we have dealt with very strong weather. Yesterday's downpour, of course, left many Evansville streets temporarily flooded. Some of that problem could have been easily, though, avoided. News 25's Allison Hatcher is live in Evansville to explain. Allison?
Well, Brad, the rain is picking up pretty good here. Just recently it's picked up quite a bit, but not as bad as it was yesterday, where a lot of neighborhoods got a lot of flooding. A lot of that, the source of those flooding problems were caused by storm drains just like this one. Now you can see it's moving pretty well, not clogged up too bad. You can see a few leaves in here, and city workers tell us that how much is in here has to do with how much flooding will actually occur. They're pretty when they're here, but once they hit the ground, leaves can be the root of problems with your storm drain.
It doesn't take very many leaves to plug the front of an inlet. And once that gets plugged, and then the water of the pressure that's laying in the street holds the leaves there, and they can't go anywhere.
After yesterday's heavy rains and even flooding in some Evansville neighborhoods, Senning says the city received a lot of calls about clogged drains. He's spending today cleaning up the leftover debris. But Senning says you don't always have to wait on the professionals to come fix the problem. You can actually help prevent them yourself.
I'd catch some people out cleaning their inlets just because of the leaves, and I'd stop and say, hey, thanks a lot, you know, because that really helps out and keeps the street from flooding.
Rosemary Lowry says yesterday's storm sent her out into her yard earlier than expected.
When I came in last night, it looked like a mess, so this morning I thought, well, I'll get up and get at it. It gets sort of clogged up around the corners, so, you know, you have to keep some of it up.
And Senning says you need to keep your drains clear because when the rains come in, that's their only way out. Now, you might not think something like leaves would cause such a big problem or even be in connection with storms or flooding, but city officials tell us that is the first thing that people need to think about. And the good thing about taking the time to clean out those drains is not only are you clearing up the damage, but you may be making the difference for the next heavy rains that come in, preventing that from either being heavy rains or some potential flooding. Live in Evansville, Allison Hatcher, News 25.
All right, Allison, thanks a lot for your report. Up next on News 25, the latest on the war against terrorism. Plus, a local woman is arrested accused of an anthrax hoax. You're watching News 25 at 6.
You're watching News 25 at 6 with news anchors Brad Byrd, Shelley Kirk, Chief Meteorologist Wayne Hart with News 25 First Warning Doppler Radar, and Lance Wilkerson Sports. This is News 25 at 6. Live, local, accurate.